and welcome to another episode of the Herd Main Show. I'm your herd leader, John Wayne.
And I'm your herd mom, Megan.
And this is herd guest, Jesse. If you have tracked us on social media, you've probably heard of Gameinfinite. We share a lot of their stuff, and we actually co-manage with Gameinfinite with Jesse, Star Wars Infinite on Instagram. And so if you've been on our social media, you've probably seen that before. And so, Jesse, you are Gameinfinite.
I am, or at least I'm the head of the group that is, and thanks for having me here. It was super fun to be on the podcast and hang out with you guys. I'm actually from Wisconsin, so happy to be down here in family. So it was craziest backstory real quick of like I went to Star Wars Celebration and we're in line to see Sam Witwer and John is there. We're just talking. We're waiting in line, and then I learned about his podcast, and I talk about Gameinfinite, and that's how we started talking. And then fast forward, we partner up on becoming a mod for Gameinfinite, and then we start talking about the idea of Star Wars Infinite. So just really cool how we met, and then of course Megan came along with all of that, and so Gameinfinite. If you haven't seen any of the content yet, so Gameinfinite is this platform for gaming news and entertainment. I've sometimes jokingly referred to it as the IGN for the little guy.
Yes.
That's how I like to kind of briefly describe it to someone. We do gaming news, we do game reviews, we have committed to a daily content schedule of clips and screenshots and all types of fun gaming stuff. And underneath Gameinfinite, we have a community of content creators. It's specifically for creators, so streamers, nerdy artists, cosplayers, indie devs, and they all join the community in the effort to maybe share their content with like creators, potentially get help from other creators and get benefit from Gameinfinite. We support them and they help us grow. And I was doing this alone for a long time, so I decided to create a mod program, and that's what these two nice folks do with me, and they help be my inner circle, my main lieutenants, the people to go to. And one of the things that we wanted to start to branch out is that as cool as Gameinfinite and this platform was, I wanted to start branching out and having other channels. So we created a GI Channels program. And GI Channels is really cool because it's sub-pages that are content specific. And when I was looking at that, we made one for Apex Legends, and then one of my friends, Jay, who's another mod, he loves Tomb Raider, so it was an obvious choice for him to make one. And then I was like, who else do I know that is extremely passionate about a topic? So Star Wars obviously came up. It's a big one, and this being
Nobody
such a powerful year for Star Wars, yeah. So that's when we came up with Star Wars Infinite, which is this GI channel that we co-manage and we can use to promote both main platforms and just kind of have a really cool partnership with this little link between the two platforms. It's really cool. If you're a fellow content creator, you're a YouTuber, you want to be an aspiring streamer, I have a rule when it comes to GI Friends. That's the name of the community of creators. It doesn't matter how big or small you are, as long as you're friendly and supportive. You could have 2 followers, you can have 2,000, you can have 2 million if you want. You probably don't want to join our community because we're not big enough yet.
That'd be great.
Yeah, because we have like 3,000 or something. So anyone can join. You just have to be a creator. So if you want to get into cosplay, you're an artist, whatever, you can join the community. You get the benefit of working with all us cool folks here, and if you like Star Wars, awesome. Check out Star Wars Infinite. It's pretty cool. What have you guys mostly liked about being a part of the Gameinfinite community? Who have you gotten to know? What have you liked? How has it changed Nerdherder for you guys?
Well, Gameinfinite, I think, is, and the way we always try and market it whenever we pass it out and share it with people is, I mean, we created the podcast to meet people. It wasn't just to have like this big successful brand and do this big stuff. It was mostly that we like this thing, we know other people like this thing, let's get together and talk about it. And Gameinfinite kind of takes that to a whole nother level with a whole bunch of other things. So it's constantly, and I think content creators in general can get very boxed in and lonely. It gets very much like you're constantly doing your thing and producing your stuff, and it's just, you don't really always have that spur on. You might have an audience, you might have viewers, but you're not necessarily, there's no one really coming alongside you in your endeavors. Gameinfinite being made by creators for creators is a great way to get that sort of network support. And so with Gameinfinite, it's been broad where it's all these other things. I mean, I never heard of Apex prior to Gameinfinite, and obviously eventually Apex Infinite, where it's just like that's a big brand, and it's just like I never would have checked it out if not for that. Same with Tomb Raider. I knew of it. I watched the movie. It was fine, but I never thought about it of a
hurting me very deeply inside.
What? I mean, Angelina Jolie running around with her dad. It's fine. I mean,
I thought you meant the newer one. I was like,
there's a newer one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Where have you been?
Clearly not in the news. But no, it's this really great support, because sometimes it's great having the support of your audience if you do have that, and we're not saying we don't have that.
No.
But sometimes having another creator that gets it when you're going through a creative struggle or a rut, or you're just really just trying to produce this stuff because it's popular, but you're just trying to keep going along and everything. And so supporters getting supporters and promoting supporters, it's a really great network. It's a really great opportunity, like you said, no matter how big or small you are, to feel supported. And you get so many different, like I said, we watch regular streams of Apex, Tomb Raider. We check out a lot of the cosplays of that sort of thing. And that only happened because we started to see that content through Gameinfinite. And so you get all kinds of people that you never would have really connected with apart from sharing amongst each other.
Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a place to get to know people who are passionate about the same thing that you are. Like, I am a huge Nintendo fangirl. I am unfortunately the only one in our friend group. But when I tweet about, like, dude, Animal Crossing's come out, and, like, people are responding to that and feeling the same exact way, it really garners a sense of community. Like you said, it's awesome.
Yeah. And then when you get specific with something you like Star Wars Infinite, like the artists we've been able to meet and get to know and share their stuff, it's really cool. You find out what interests people, because this person likes Star Wars, but clearly their big thing is troopers. We have a couple of artists like that where it's like you can talk Jedi and all this other stuff, but their thing is troopers. And that's cool and that's great, and they produce great art or they have cool cosplay. And so it's, again, that thing of, it's just like you get to appreciate it from a different angle. Loving Star Wars is great, and loving any one thing is great, but being able to change your perspective on it constantly is really helpful to keep that passion alive. And so I'm never going to wear a costume. I'm never going to be a part of the 501st. I love you guys, but it's not going to happen. They don't make uniforms in my size.
You don't want to be Fox?
No. Oh gosh, no. But I can appreciate not only the work that goes into it, but also just the people that do it well. We follow one guy that does an amazing Captain Rex cosplay, and it's just phenomenal. And I just love appreciating it through him.
One of the things I've loved about this whole journey is, finding this community. We have about 70 members right now in the creators, and about 3/4 of them are very active creators, and I just love, some of the coolest people that I've met and have done this, like touching on a point earlier about being a creator it can be a very lonely thing. This idea, because like there are a lot of creators out there and not everyone's going to succeed, and mainly because it is such a lonely journey. And for those that are lucky enough to get a following, that can be encouraging, but for those it can take a while. And it doesn't always there's not always a correlation between whether or not that person is quote unquote good. It's just, it's so competitive, and it is such a lonely thing, and people look at it as a competition. So sometimes for a lot of people, it's counterintuitive to be mutually supportive. This idea of that, there's all this like follow for follow or like for like, and a lot of that stuff that it is like, it's a neat idea to like try to support each other, but the intent is bad for a lot. So people get like turned off from that, and the idea of mutual support has gotten a little bit of a kind of a dirty reputation, like it's cheap, or people are just trying to get followers. And it's not about that. It's about overcoming algorithms and trying to work. And follow for follow can be if it's just that soulless like for like, where there's no real mutual support.
We're never going to actually interact.
No interaction. Like if you don't know that person's some type of name or anything about them, like one of the things that I've loved, some of my favorite things that I've done is some of the conversations I've had with new members, just getting to know them. And it's like, I think your stuff is really cool. It's one of the first things I tell them is I like your content. I want to help support you. And it's one of those things where the internet is not a place of trust from a lot of people. So a lot of people, it can be like, what, you want to help me? You want to support me? And I really wanted to build a community that had a reputation for being supportive. And I've always talked about that 80-20. Like, I spend, for every 5 minutes I spend promoting someone else, I'm working on promoting Gameinfinite. Like, it's really trying to give more than I'm getting to build that reputation, because I think that is what's going to be most important, is that the people think that, oh, they see Gameinfinite, they see someone that's very supportive, is constantly giving back to their creators, and I hope we've achieved that reputation. And I think it's something that's really important, that people feel like it's okay to support you, because not because you're getting support back, but because we're kind of supporting each other. It's like this idea of like mutual uplifting. It's not putting in what you can get out of it. It's about just that whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I know that's a cliche term, but like really trying to focus on that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cliche, but it's true. And like you said earlier, it gets this reputation of being cheap, and so it's just like, well, no, I just want my thing to succeed well. And I think where a lot fail, I mean, you can do that on your own, and you might just be kind of outside the realms and whatnot, and you just got lucky or something like that. But I think all in all, for your success, others have to succeed as well. And I think that's just life in general.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're trying to produce something out there, and if it's centered around something you love, it's far better to be connected with other people that love it, or at least can appreciate it, or see your passion for it. Sometimes, and we talk about this on the podcast a lot, sometimes just getting someone else's passion is enough. Like, I don't have to like your thing or get your thing, but I love your passion.
Yeah.
And I mean, and cosplay is one of those where it's just like, I can to a point get it, but mostly I just love when people love it.
Yeah.
And we've got to get back to a time, I think, as people, when that's enough.
Yeah.
You know. And so, yeah, I think Gameinfinite, I mean, obviously we're a part of it, so we believe in it, we think it's great, and you should definitely be a part of it. If you produce anything, no matter what kind of following you have, check out, what are your socials? Where can they connect with you?
Our biggest activities on Instagram, it's just Gameinfinite. We were lucky enough to get the actual handle there, so that was pretty cool. So it's at Gameinfinite on Instagram. So our website, gameinfinite.net, if you / to join, that takes you right to the join page where you can fill out a little form to get more information. Don't worry, it's not signing up right away. It's just signing up to get more information. So if you'd like to learn like all the perks, I'll send you a list of all the benefits you get, and they're all free benefits. GI Friends is 100% free, and it's really cool. I want to see your content. I want to help support it, and doesn't really add to your workflow, and it can definitely be a way to get some extra support and join a community of fellow creators that will appreciate your work. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm going to be on the main show as well, but we just kind of wanted to do a little promo video talking about it, and I hope you guys check it out. Once again, it's gameinfinite.net. Check it out. We have all of our news, reviews, articles. I love writing if you like to read long rants about gaming stuff. The channels, the link to the channels are there too, so you can also see some of the other sub-pages. So if you're interested in more than Star Wars, we have our Star Wars channel, but we also have the Apex and the Tomb Raider that I mentioned. You can get to all of those channels right from the website under the channels tab. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah.
So check all of that stuff out. Creator, or if you just like to see what other awesome stuff people are making, that's a thing too. You can just follow and like. That's a big deal. So, but yeah, definitely check all of that out.